Okay. In a couple days. Am I just headed to the train station now? Yes. Yes, I am. Where's the train station? Can't remember. Literally right where we were at. Oh, Reen. Ooh, gotta get the stopwatch going. Okay. You're ready to depart too, I see. Yeah, we were about to leave. Don't you still need to purchase your tickets? Oh, yeah, you're right. Looks like we'll be traveling together as far as Heimdall this time. Very well, let's stop dallying and buy them already. Indeed. Good morning, Class 7. I hear Group A is heading all the way out to the Nord Highlands this month. You heard right. We'll need to change trains twice, first in Heimdall, then in Ruhr, right? Correct. From Ruhr, you'll need to transfer to a freight line for the last leg of your journey. Regrettably, we can't handle that part of your trip here. Actually, it seems that arrangements have already been made for that segment. We should only need to buy tickets as far as Ruhr. That won't be a problem then. Do you want them right now? Let's do it. Certainly. Okay, that's 5 passengers bound for Ruhr. I'll have those tickets for you in just a moment. The awkward walk to the trains. Passenger service bound for Heimdall, now arriving on platform 2. We ask that all passengers wishing to board please wait on the platform until the train has come to a complete stop. Huh? I'd say we timed that pretty well. Impeccable timing. True. It seems there's a 2-woman cold front blowing your way. Well, don't worry about us. We'll see what we can do to thaw them out. Yeah, just don't expect them to be weaving each other flower crowns when we get back, okay? Alright, we'll leave them to you then. Good luck. I think I'm going to play this a little differently than I've played it before. I don't recall really using Gaius too much when I did my first ever playthrough of this game. Wow, these sandwiches really hit the spot. Ham, lettuce, and cheese. And I'm getting a hint of pickle in there too. The ingredients are simple enough, but the way they come together is something special. Even the butter tastes different from what I'm used to. And this tea is equally perfect. The zest of the lemon complements the taste perfectly. You have quite the maid looking after you. Well, Mother hired her, not me. She's a talented maid, though, I won't deny that. She handles the typical housework and greeting guests, as you'd expect. But she also manages Mother's schedule. Wow. Managing the company chairman's schedule doesn't really sound like part of a typical maid's job description. She really is that talented, though. Which is why I can't work out why Mother sent her to look after me. Those two are up to something, I just know it. Regardless, there are definitely perks to having her around. I think you should accept your mother's kindness. I agree. She must have started working before sunrise to prepare all of this for us. I know, I know. Anyway, look at those two. So we're headed to Brionia Island this time. All I know is that it hosts some sort of ancient ruins. I'm not certain what to expect. Come to think of it, this will be the first time I've had a chance to see the ocean. What about you two? Now that you mention it, I've never seen it either. I have. Oh, really? During a landing operation in the core. Oh, speaking of ruins, Legram has some fairly well-known ruins, doesn't it, Laura? Oh yeah, the Saint's Castle or something like that. You must be referring to Lohengrin Castle. It's a magnificent stronghold that faces out onto the lake. You can see it from the town itself. It's quite beautiful on the days when the mist clears. Oh, wow. This sounds like a sight worth seeing. Seems like you'd be in trouble if a skilled sniper set himself up there. Doesn't sound like they're getting along very well. I feared as much. I doubt Fee is doing it on purpose. Laura seemed uncharacteristically offended by it, too. Yeah, she's usually so composed, but something about Fee seems to get under her skin. Alright, skip that. We don't need to see where on the map it is. Heimdall Central Station. God dang. It never ceases to amaze me just how big Heimdall Station is. I've heard it said that it's not merely the largest station in Erebonia, but on the entire continent. I'm unaware of another station that can match the 10 tracks found here. When I first transferred lines here on the way to Trista, the amount of people I saw really threw me for a loop. But it's not surprising that there aren't many folks around here this early in the morning. Sorry, I don't think we're going to be able to do this. Hang on, you can't give up already? How hopeless. Well, don't worry about it too much. The most important thing is that we all come back safe and sound. Everything else is secondary. I suppose you're right. We'll try and keep things from getting too dangerous, at least. Anyway, this is where we split up. If you're traveling toward Ordis, you'll be heading west, right? Indeed. Meanwhile, Group A will need to travel northeast to Ruor first. I'm so jealous that you get to visit Gaius' homeland. You'd better tell us all about it when you get back. Will do. Take care, everyone. Fee, Laura, you both take care too. Well, see you all next week. Quite.
Is something on your mind, Elise? Has some rugged, handsome young man caught your eye? Like your brother, perhaps?
Please, Your Highness. I just thought I saw someone I recognized.
Yeah, your brother,
But it couldn't
perhaps.
possibly have been him. I can't imagine what would bring him to the capital this early in the morning.
Someone you recognized? I wonder. But I knew you wouldn't deny it. That your brother is handsome, I mean.
Got her.
Please. I knew that I shouldn't have told you about him.
Oh, come now, I'm only teasing. There's no need to sulk. I'll give you a little something from Mariage Cross to make up for it.
But that's an adult lingerie brand. Please excuse us, Captain Claire.
I'm sorry. I hope I haven't sullied your ears with our scandalous conversation.
Not at all, Your Highness. I came to inform you that the special train to the Imperial Villa will be arriving shortly. I look forward to accompanying you today.
It'll be a pleasure to have you with us.
The most pleasure.
Certainly.
Meet the two of the lovely young ladies. We'll be seeing more and more of them as the game goes on. Alright, let me tell you a bit more about the Nord Highlands. The Nord Highlands are a mountainous region to the northeast of Erebonia. To get there, we'll need to cross the Isengard Range. That's the mountain range to the north of Ruhr. I'm guessing we'll need to pass through quite a few tunnels to get to the other side. Pretty much. I went through several when I was originally traveling to Trista. Anyway, when you reach the other side, you'll be in the Nord Highlands, surrounded on every side by mountains. Other than the Imperial Army's bases, the only place you'll find people is in the nomadic settlements, like the one I'm from. Damn. If anything, we have more sheep than people. Wow, really? I'm starting to feel like we're traveling to a country locked in time or something. It sounds like a scene right out of a picture book. In addition to the scenery, the Nord Highlands are also well known for their breeding and raising of horses. Most of the war horses used by the Imperial Army are descended from Highland stock. That's true, horses are essential to the livelihoods of the folks in my village. Raising horses to be used by the Erebonians is one of my people's primary sources of income. Come to think of it, I seem to remember hearing that the horse we have at home was raised in Nord too. Isn't that also true of the horses in the riding club uses? Correct, all of them originally came from Nord. Even the golden stallion on the Empire's emblem was said to depict a warhorse raised in the Highlands. Or so the story goes, at least. Nord has deep historical ties to the Empire. We know today that it's where Emperor Dreikel first started building his army, after all. That's right, the Imperial Army still maintains a base on the southern edge of the Highlands, Zender Gate. That's as far north as the trains can take us. I see. We should arrive there somewhere around 4 in the afternoon then. Yeah, but it's just past 8 a.m. now. We should reach Ruhr Station by midday. After that, we have another 4 or so hours on the freight train to Nord. Looks like we're in for it for the long haul. Still, we won't get chances like this often, so let's try to make the most of it. Not too much longer now. I guess this will be your first time back home since you started at Thor's, right? Does it feel a little awkward to be going back after you ran away from home? A little, yeah. At least we're only changing trains there, so I don't have to leave the station. I haven't been to Ruhr since I switched lines there on the way to Trista. Oh right, I almost forgot. If you came from Ymir, you had to have gone through Ruhr. I visited Ymir once when I was a kid, but I haven't been back there since. I remember it being a really nice place, though. The scenery was so beautiful. Oh, didn't know you'd actually been. Yeah, it really is beautiful. A place that nice doesn't really fit a guy like me. Are you still soaking over what that twit said during our last practical exam? Pay the House of High Arms little mind, and their fool of a third son even less. I don't think he meant most of those awful things he said. Oh, he did. Yeah, it seems like his anger just got the better of him. I'll bet he regretted it later. And regardless of what he thinks, we all think you're a swell guy, as a classmate and as a friend. So don't be too hard on yourself. Thanks, guys. It means a lot to hear you say that. You're so hopeless sometimes, Reen. Anyway, let's get in and out of Ruhr Station as quickly as we can. We need to find that freight train. We're taking the rest of the way to Nord as soon as we get there. Oh my god, wake up. It's easy to forget, but in traveling to the Nord Highlands, we'll actually be leaving the country. It feels strange heading out beyond our borders, a little emotional even. Yeah, we've got a long journey ahead of us. I can only wonder what kinds of things they'll have us doing when we get there. I can't even begin to imagine. Each month seems to throw something new at us. I am a little worried about how Fia is holding up, though. Yeah, there's definitely something going on between her and Laura. But I'm not sure there's anything we can do about that. I'm sure Elliot and Machias will keep an eye on those two for us. We've got our own battles to face. I'd like us all to come back from this trip in one piece. You're right, of course. What is it that makes Fee and Laura regard each other so coldly? I just hope maybe they'll find something during their field study that helps patch things up between them. The horses of the Nord Highlands are known for being some of the finest on the continent. With their solid builds, high endurance, and steadfast loyalty to their masters, they truly are the ideal steeds. The Highlands are far from the only place that raises horses, but the horses from Nord are in a class all their own. Sounds like you couldn't find a better horse if you searched across the Empire. Though now I can see why Arthur's such an impressive specimen. Who? Oh, Arthur's the horse we have back at home. My dad would often ride him out hunting with our old dog, Bado. Back when I was a kid, he'd lift me up on his back and let me ride around. I see. This will be an excellent opportunity to learn more about how the Empire's finest horses are raised right at the source. Wow, he seems like he's really into this. Ever since the Orbital Revolution, the Imperial Army has become more and more reliant on machines. But even in spite of that, the horses of Nord are still highly prized across the whole of the Empire. The Highlands may be within Erebonia's borders, but the intertwining of our histories goes back centuries. Well, here's a sight for sore eyes. Haven't soaked in scenery like this since I first came to Trista. I hope everyone in the settlement is doing well. He seems happy to be headed home. I've always been curious, how did you end up coming to Thors anyway? Well, about a year ago I met a general in the Imperial Army up in Nord. One thing led to another, and he ended up giving me a recommendation to attend the academy. He was strangely adamant that my skill with the spear would come in handy during my time at Thors. Guess he was right. I can see why the Imperial General might have taken an interest in your spearmanship. My gosh, I need to wake up. Our cavalry's lance and spear training has its origins not just in the tales of the Eisenritter, but in the traditions of the Highlands as well. Oh, that's pretty interesting. It's just recently that I've been learning how far back the connection between Nord and Erebonia goes. Indeed. I'm truly grateful to the guidance of the winds for allowing me to receive that recommendation when I did. After all, if I hadn't, I might never have met all of you, and my life would be the lesser for it. Alright. The Ministry of Railways wishes to thank all passengers for their patronage. This special express line is bound for Ruhr. Our next stop is Ruhr, the terminus of this express line. Please ensure that you have all of your belongings when you are with you when you disembark the train. Here we go. This is my first visit to the Empire's industrial metropolis. Actually, it's my first time too. I passed through when I first came to the academy, but even then, I can see why people associate it with industry. It feels like the whole city is one big mass of iron. Yeah, it really does have that vibe. What are those cone-shaped towers out in the distance anyway? Oh, those are the orbital generators for the industrial plants. There are tons of large factories in the city, so they need those to create all the orbital energy needed to power them. Wow, really? If I weren't seeing it for myself, I'd be hard-pressed to imagine a city like this. Ruhr Station. Yeah. In some of the older Trails games, we spend quite a bit of... Well, no, it's not Ruhr. It's somewhere else. Yeah, I think in Trails in the Sky, we spend time in a different place, not Ruhr. Can't remember, though. Well, we finally made it as far as Ruhr. We'll need to transfer to a freight line to reach the Nord Highlands from here, right? Right, there will be a freight train leaving from Platform 4 that we need to board. Platform 4 is up the staircase and to the left, I think. Alright, let's not waste any time then. Come to think of it, it's already past noon. Perhaps we should purchase some lunches for the rest of our journey? Sounds like a plan. We still have another 4 hours to go. We're going to need to eat something between now and dinner. It seems highly unlikely a freight train would be equipped with vending machines or other such comforts either. We'll need to go through the ticket gate then. There's a shop in the main part of the station that sells pre-packed lunches.
Oh, there won't be any need for that. What?
No way.
Sharon? How did you get here before us? The power of my love for you allows me to do the impossible, my lady. And as you'll see, I've prepared packed lunches for all of you that far surpass this morning's offerings.
Sharon gets up super early, gets us breakfast, sends us on our way for our first 4 and some change hours journey. Then, somehow, she has time to make all the lunches and get to the station before we arrive at the station to give us our lunch for our next 4-hour journey. She truly is the maid of maids.
I do hope you'll enjoy them.
Thanks.
Received a special packed lunch for each member of the group.
We really appreciate you going to all the trouble to make these for us.
But again, how the hell did you get here before us?
True. That said, I'm really curious how you got here before us.
It seems that the Reinford family's maid enjoys a little amusement at the expense of her employer. I imagine you transferred to an airship in the capital?
Of course, why didn't I think of that? You can cut the time from Heimdall to Ruhr in half if you travel by airship, I think.
You got me. I took advantage of the opportunity to borrow the airship's kitchen so I could make your lunches as well.
She's great.
They're quite fresh, so take a moment to savor the taste.
Well, thank you.
We really do appreciate all you're doing for us.
Honestly, I knew you had to be up to something. You're not planning on coming all the way to the Nord Highlands with us now, are you?
I'd love to, but unfortunately, I have some other business I must attend to. I may not be able to return to Trista for a while either.
Other business?
Sharon will be assisting me with my work.
Mother?
Hello, Elisa.
Mother.
You all must be members of Class 7.
Irina Reinford.
I'm Elisa's mother, Irina, also the chairman of the Reinford Group. It's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is ours. I'm Reen Schwarzer.
I intimately know your daughter.
Pleased to meet you. My name is Emma Milstein.
Gaius Warzel. Glad to make your acquaintance.
Eustace Alborea. A pleasure.
I'm glad you're all managing to get along with my obstinate daughter. I wish I could stay a while, but unfortunately I have work that can't wait. Come along, Sharon.
As you wish, Madam Chairman. What?
You heard her. Sharon's got a job to do.
Seriously? You show up like this and that's all you have to say? It's always work with you, isn't it? You probably didn't even notice I left home until I was already gone. Now it's just, hello, Elisa, and that's it?
My lady.
I did get the impression her relationship with her mother wasn't all sunshine and gumdrops.
How do they even know what gumdrops are?
Seems there's a lot of friction between them.
You can live your life however you see fit. I have no intention of forcing the Reinford Group on you. Even if you decide to follow a certain someone's path and cast aside all sense of responsibility, it's your choice to make. Besides, I still manage to keep myself informed of the general goings-on in your academic life in the monthly reports I receive from the Academy.
What?
I knew Sharon would relay back information about me, but reports from the Academy itself?
Oh, you must not have known. In addition to my other responsibilities, I also sit on the Academy's board of directors.
Oh my, that means...
Just like Rufus.
It does appear that way. I'd certainly deem the chairman of the Reinford Group a canny choice as a member of the board.
Indeed.
The Reinford Group is heavily involved in the development of the Orbital staff, as well as your Arcus. I must say, I'm quite pleased with the reports I've received on your usage of both.
She looks so tired.
I'm looking forward to seeing the results of this month's field study as well. Do give me some good reading, won't you?
Please excuse us, my lady. Take care during the rest of your journey.
Well, that was a shock and a half. Elisa's
Elisa?
going through it.
You alright?
Elisa's doing the going through it. But more freight train action. Damn it. I thought I finally had her out of my hair, but it looks like she was one step ahead of me this whole time. I take it you and your mother aren't on good terms then? Yeah, I think that much was abundantly clear. Things have been rocky between us for a long time now. Once I left home, that was the first step that led me to enrolling in the academy. But how was I supposed to know I'd gone and signed up for the school she sits on the board of directors of? How could I have been so stupid? Why didn't I conduct a more thorough investigation before I made my choice? I don't know what to say. You have our sympathies, I suppose. Is your mother being on the board of directors really such a problem? Well, it's complicated. Usually she seems like she's only interested in her work, but then she'll suddenly start meddling in my life. She says to just do what I want, but it always turns out wherever I go, she's there ahead of me, just like today. I should have known something was up. The bank account my grandfather gave me to cover up my academy expenses hasn't taken a dip since my first day at Thor's. So your mother's been paying your bills the whole time? It does seem like a strong possibility, especially considering her presence on the board of directors. I can't see what you're grousing about. Most people would be grateful to have a parent display that much interest. What? At least your mother spared the time to come and greet us. At least she showed the slightest trace of interest in you and your classmates. Oh. Eustace. Forget it. Yeah, Eustace's dad doesn't give two craps about him or his classmates. Well, we just entered a tunnel. The first of many now that we're going through the mountains. I see. Anyway, how about we dig into those lunches Sharon made for us? That sounds good to me. Seems like she went out of her way to prepare them. Alright. If these are subpar because she had to make do with the airship's kitchen, I won't let her hear the end of it. Well then, let's dig in. The Isengard branch line. Wow, so you're going to the Highlands for an academy field study. Sounds like you budding soldiers do some pretty interesting things as part of your training these days. I suppose you could say that. Thor seems quite different from most other military academies in that regard, though. Still feels pretty neat to see you all dressed up in your uniforms. They look pretty sharp on you. Thanks for the voice of confidence. Or vote of confidence, I think he said. Even at the academy, Gaius always stands out because of his height. Yeah, he towers over even the second years. Are all of the people in your settlement of a similar height? Nah, I'd say my dad is the only one who really has height on me. My younger brother's fairly short, though, so I wouldn't doubt he has another growth spurt coming his way. I seem to remember you mentioning you have quite a few siblings. A younger brother and two younger sisters, to be exact. They're a little on the shy side, but I hope you'll get along with them. Can do. Still, if you look through the window, it really feels like we're getting close to the Highlands now. Indeed. Man, seeing you kids rushing off on some adventure kind of makes you jealous. Anyway, we're about halfway through the Isengard range now. We should reach Zender Gate in 2 hours or so take this time to relax. Thank you. We appreciate the info. Did you meet him back in the spring when you were on your way to Trista? Yeah, made the same trip back then too. We had plenty of time to kill, so he taught me a lot about Erebonian culture. Sounds like a pretty nice guy. I'll bet that served as a pretty useful primer. It did. There are a lot of people I'm thankful to for helping me come this far. But most of all, I'm thankful to the winds and to the goddess. The winds of the goddess. Haha, classic Gaius. We're in Zender Gate. Hey, that looks like we ought to be coming out of the last tunnel any time now. I see. Elisa, Eustace, we're almost there. Ah. Oh. So this is... I can only just make it out in the distance, but it looks like that's it. So that's the Nord Highlands. I'll admit, it appears even more breathtaking than I was expecting. I'll be even happier to hear you say that once you've seen it up close. Yeah, the Highlands are pretty cool. Pretty big. Feels like what an open world game would be. Trails of Cold Steel, Breath of the Wild edition. Ah, you've arrived. It's a pleasure to see you again, Lieutenant General. Likewise, it's been months since I last saw you. Seems almost surreal to see you standing there in a military academy uniform, though this is the first time I've seen the Thor's ensemble in red. This is the color they use for my class, Class 7. It looks like he's pretty high up in the Imperial Army. Yeah, I'm betting he's the Lieutenant General in charge of Zender Gate. He seems quite close to Gaius. An Imperial General with an eye patch. That seems familiar somehow. These must be your classmates. Indeed, these are about half of my classmates from Class 7. I'm Rean Schwarzer. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Elisa Reinford, sir. I'm Emma Milstein, sir. Eustace Alborea. It's an honor. Seems like your classmates are an interesting bunch, as I'd heard. Lieutenant General Zex Vander. I'm Zex Vander, commanding officer of the Imperial Army's 3rd Armored Division. Pleasure to finally meet you. Pleased to finally meet you. One-Eyed Zex? So you're one of the guardians of the Arnor family. Oh, it seems some of you already know me. A guardian of the Arnor family? Ah, now I remember. The Vanders are a celebrated military family responsible for the protection of the Imperial family. And One-Eyed Zex Vander is said to be one of the Imperial Army's finest generals. They say that Vander and the Arseid schools of swordsmanship are the 2 most renowned styles in Erebonia. It's truly an honor to meet you, sir. Dang. I'm just a military man, hardly deserving of quite that level of praise. I'd love to hear about all of you and your excursion to the Highlands, but unfortunately we don't have the time. You should set out as soon as possible if you want to reach the settlement by nightfall. I agree. Were you able to take care of all of the arrangements? I did, rest assured. What arrangements? We need to head out now if we want to reach Gaius' home by sundown, right? Right, which is why I asked the Lieutenant General to arrange some transportation for us. Alright, just follow me and I'll show you the way. Wow. Like, the Nord Highlands is one of the most calming places in the game. It just reminds me of, like, Wild Arms. It's simply breathtaking. I had no idea a land so beautiful lay at the far end of the railway. Honestly, I suppose words are woefully insufficient in the face of such majesty. Glad to hear you think so. But we gotta get us our horse. Our steeds, our majesty. Horses, are you saying? We're to travel to the settlement on horseback? The Highlands are way too vast to cover in any reasonable length of time on foot. You'll be fine, you're a member of the riding club, and Rean and Lisa both have riding experience, right? Yeah, I think I can manage. I learned back at home, so I should be okay as long as we aren't making any trick jumps or anything. I'm afraid I've never ridden a horse before. Not a problem. You can just hitch a ride on the back of someone else's horse. Elisa would probably be the best choice considering the balance of weight. I can do that. Is that alright with you, Emma? Yes, although I do feel a little nervous. Let's mount up at once then. Okay, steady now, steady. This is a fine horse. Are you doing okay back there, Emma? Yes, I'm fine, I think. Make sure to hold on tight when we start moving. This should be a fun trip. They're all top quality horses raised here in the Highlands. At a good clip, you should be able to reach the settlement in under an hour. Oh, and before I forget, I'm sure guys don't have much need of this, but the rest of you should take a map of the Highlands. A map? Yeah, it'd be nice. Wow. Such a high level of detail. It looks as though the Army's surveying expertise is being put to good use. Indeed, I hope it'll prove useful during your field study. Thank you very much, sir. Alright, that's about it for me. You should be heading out. May the blessing of the winds and the goddess be with you. Give my regards to the elder and Lacan. We will. Thank you for seeing us off, sir. If you'll excuse us, then. Excuse me.
This is worlds apart from the bustle of the city.
It really is. I feel like I'm one with the wind.
Indeed, but if you didn't go too fast, that would be great.
I'm sure it will feel natural in time. No doubt the riding club would be fuming with envy if they could see us now.
I'll bet.
Anyway, my home settlement is due northeast of here. Hopefully we'll be able to reach it before sundown.
I mean, you got some powerful horses.
Let's move.
How to ride the horse. Horseback riding controls are largely the same as those for regular movement. Use the left stick to move and dash, but they are one button. But this is where we're gonna call it for now. Yeah, 37 minutes. Sounds good. Alright, until next time, everybody.